Hello everyone, this is Tlisha from Astrology with your weekly astrology reflections from 17 to 22 November 2025. The theme for this week is When Water Remembers, Grief, Peace, and the Soft Power of Letting Go. This week opens with a message that arrived for me most unexpectedly. During the Grand Water Trine, I found myself standing inside a quiet Buddhist temple. It wasn't planned. I didn't even know I'd end up there. And as I inhaled the incense-filled air, a thought came. Offer a prayer for your mother. The moment I thought of her, she appeared in my mind exactly as she was. With that image came a rush of emotion. Grief, yes, but also something I didn't expect, peace. A kind of acceptance that felt like water was washing over stone, smoothing into something gentler. This is the spirit of our week, memory rising, emotion softening, truth clarifying, and the heart finding its own quiet stability. And so we begin. On 17 November, the Grand Water Trine, Sun in Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, and Saturn retrograde in Pisces. We begin under a water trine, one of the most healing configurations astrology can offer. Here, Jupiter in Cancer trines Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and both flow into the Sun in Scorpio. This water trine helps us face fears, soften long-held emotional shields, and reconnect with intuitive wisdom we've been too busy or too guarded to hear. Just as my moment in the temple brings us closer to the places inside that still ache but are ready to be released. It invites forgiveness, compassion, and the sense that unseen support is flowing towards us. It encourages reconnection with memories, ancestors, and past experiences, not to relive pain, but to release it. This week allows your inner world to speak. Water remembers, but it also teaches us how to let go. On 17 November, Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius sextile Pluto in Aquarius. While water softens us, this aspect sharpens us. Mercury retrograde asks us to look inward, and Pluto asks us to look deeper. Together, they create a piercing clarity, a moment where you can see the belief system that shaped you, and the ones you've already outgrown. This is the universe asking, what story about yourself is no longer true? What belief needs to be shed so you can move forward lighter? Under this sextile, you may uncover hidden knowledge, patterns, or truths you've avoided. You may feel drawn to psychology, mysticism, or anything that reveals what lies beneath the surface. Communication becomes powerful, persuasive, and transformative, but also inward-focused, introspective. On 19 November, Mercury retrograde re-enters Scorpio into opposition to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Now the mind dives even deeper and turns your thoughts into a lantern moving through shadowed emotional territory. This is a period of reviewing past conversations, revisiting old emotions, and confronting buried truths. Communication becomes intense, direct, and sometimes uncomfortable, but always illuminating. Challenge your mindset about core beliefs, especially concerning your values, finances, or relationships. Think of it as emotional truth or confronting the uncomfortable truths that require a change in your habits or priorities. The tension is real, and so is the breakthrough. On 19 November, Mercury retrograde re-enters Scorpio and trines Neptune retrograde in Pisces. This softens everything. It links the mind with intuition, the intellect with the soul. This is where your spiritual insight rises, where forgiveness meets understanding, where grief meets peace. This aspect integrates the emotional, psychological, and spiritual layers of your life, just like my moment in the temple, when pain and acceptance existed at the same time. On 20 November, we have a new moon in Scorpio. This is the heart of the week and perhaps one of the most transformative luminations of the year. The Sun and Moon at 28 degrees Scorpio sit conjunct retrograde Mercury and opposite retrograde Uranus, it trines Saturn and Neptune, asking us to work with illusions and limitations. It's a cosmic initiation. This new moon pushes us to break old patterns, question old beliefs, release outdated emotional responses, bring a new chapter of inner transformation. Scorpio and new moon are always about self-mastery. This one is more than that. It's about reclaiming your inner power, your emotional truth, your voice. On 20 November, the Sun and Moon conjunct Mercury retrograde. This begins a new Mercury cycle, a reset to your thinking, your self-expression, your mental clarity. You may receive an important message. You may remember something significant. You may see yourself more clearly than you have in years. This is your chance to begin rewriting your story with courage, honesty, and depth. And on 22nd November, the Sun enters Sagittarius. After all that water and shadow work, Sagittarius brings fire, the warmth after the storm. The season lifts the mood. It brings optimism, adventure, curiosity, and the desire to understand the greater meaning behind your experiences. It reminds you that healing isn't just release, it's an expansion. It's a journey that follows the transformation. This week teaches us that grief and peace can coexist, that memory can be a doorway, not a trap, that water can hold us while fire renews us, and that transformation doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in a quiet temple, in an unexpected moment, in the space where your heart opens just enough to let healing in. Thank you for joining me for this week's Astrology Reflections. For personal readings, find me on Astrology, where you can book personalized readings, workshops, reflections for your own unique cosmic rhythm. Until next week, may the waters soften you and may the fire guide you forward.